This is the opening of our regularly scheduled North Conservation Commission meeting for September 8th, 2025. It is now 6:30 p.m. and our members participating tonight are myself, Julian Kadish, as chair. We have vice chair Lisa Rosa, and also Joe Carvalho, Dan Pearson, and Mark Fernandez. We also have attending, maybe just listening in, is a new prospective member by the name of Courtney Miller, and she will be appointed and sworn in for next meeting. And first item of business, we don't have minutes this time around, do we? Because I didn't find any minutes.
She didn't circulate the minutes? Well, then it looks like we're gonna have to table them to the next meeting.
They're on the.
No, they were posted. They were posted to the Google Drive.
Well, then
The last hearing.
all right, I missed that, and I will accept your evaluation, and if someone wants to make any comments or corrections.
I thought they looked fine. I just forgot what the date of the meeting minutes was.
I think it's August 25th.
Oh, okay. All right, so I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for August 25th, 2025, as written.
All right, motion by Lisa, seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Joe. We'll do a roll call vote. Lisa and Joe.
Aye.
Aye.
And I don't see Mark. Are you up here?
Mark's up there.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm an aye.
Okay, and then Dan. I don't see Dan either.
Dan's up there.
Dan's up there. He's on my screen.
Aye.
Excellent. And I'll do an abstention because I actually did do them, but the motion passes. Our next item on the agenda is the violations are kind of in progress. Is that they're not before us tonight? But as I understand it, there will be notices of intent.
Yeah, I think from the last meeting, well, for 93 King Philip Road, Mike Cahill basically stated that he would have some updates to provide us. I think he's on the call tonight. Mike, do you want to give us an update for 93 King Philip?
Yes, sir, sure. I sent an email. You all can hear me?
Yes.
You can.
Okay. Earlier today, actually, a couple hours ago, I sent an email to Mr. Thomas and copied Megan and Zach of 93 King Philip Road. And as of our last meeting on the 25th of August, I was asked to get an erosion show what we'll do for erosion prevention measures and stabilizing the property going into the fall and winter so that we could begin formal corrective action in the spring. And our framework is to install, or plan is to install silt fencing and hay wattles as shown in a couple photos that I sent. So Mr. Thomas would have those, but it's basically, again, silt fence and hay wattles as a temporary corrective action for erosion and sediment control. As you may know, specifically that the straw wattles or hay wattles are a pretty durable means to slow water flow or erosion on slopes, so that as the water body refills this winter and or the fall and winter, we don't get any runoff of soil, or minimize the runoff of soil and stabilize it. We're planning to do that install, have it complete by the end of next week, and I would then I said in the email that I'd update Mr. Thomas with a narrative and images. And in addition, I communicated with Brad Holmes of ERC Wetlands, who will do the revegetate, well, we plan to have do the revegetation. Gonna meet with him on site, hopefully in the next week or two. I had communication with him today on that. And in addition, over the next month, we'll have Roy Okarowski, PE, survey the site and basically begin, after it's been stabilized, we'll begin preparing a plan for the spring, spring restoration. I don't have a schedule yet, but I should have a schedule once I meet with Brad in the next couple weeks. Now, I intend to email you all, or I intend to email at least John, and maybe he can copy you all on our schedule. So that's where we're at now.
So can you just go over how are you going to prevent erosion?
Sure. Using, have you seen the site, Lisa?
No, so but all you're calling out for is a sediment control. You're calling out for a wattle, right? Or a compost
Yeah.
filter tube, right? That's a sediment control measure. What is your erosion prevention measure?
Silt fence.
Nope, that's a sediment control measure, so you need to understand the difference. So you prevent erosion by covering the surface that's disturbed. That's what we're looking for. You put a silt fence up to, if erosion happens, that's your last line of defense, so it doesn't leave the site. What we're asking for is erosion prevention, which means covering the surface and stabilizing it so it doesn't erode. So, okay, that is a huge difference, and people have to start understanding what the difference is. So we're looking for two things. You need to prevent erosion.
Yeah.
So you're either going to apply a seed mix, which it's a good time to do it right now, and you're also going to put up the sediment control measure, so that if it's not fully stabilized, at least there's a shot of getting it fully stabilized, then anything that does run off will be captured by the sediment fence. But you do not rely on the sediment fence for erosion prevention. So you have to cover the Earth's surface.
Right. Noted. I was just kind of simplifying it, but for sure.
Well, you didn't mention any erosion prevention. You just mentioned sediment controls, which tells me you didn't know the difference. But anyway, we're looking for erosion prevention and sediment control, both measures.
Roger that.
Okay.
All right, we're just going to open, anyone else have a question on the Board of Commission? And if not, we're going to open it up to the people that are here in the room. Anyone here have any questions about this project? And John, do you have any comments?
So I will say on a more recent project, I think if you have Brad on board with this project, he'll be able to provide you a little bit more insight on what sort of necessary erosion practices or erosion control practices should be implemented as part of this effort. As Lisa suggested, seed mixture right now is probably a good time to kind of get ready for the springtime. In addition, you can use some sort of, whether tackifier or some sort of straw to go in with that, so that way it prevents any sort of, I guess, birds from eating the seed. It would also keep the soil stabilized over the winter, and it will biodegrade over time, so it's not really a big factor, but you can remove it at the same time when you do the restoration. So I would look into those kind of methodologies and have your wetland scientists provide us some more detailed synopsis moving forward for the next meeting. You said you're meeting with Brad, and our next meeting is going to be the 22nd, so that's 2 weeks from now. I think getting a memorandum from him would be very helpful as we progress, and it gives the board a little bit more confidence to make sure that this area is stabilized through the winter.
Very good.
All right, well, thank you. And 181 West Main Street is kind of on hold.
They're going to be submitting a notice of intent to us, hopefully by next meeting. We had an informal conversation with them, and we're hopeful that they can make arrangements to submit a permit as an after action. I'd like to see what kind of riverfront disturbance they have on the site, but we'll see when they submit something to see kind of what the numbers are. So,
And that's a perennial stream?
yes, out behind the property is a perennial stream, correct.
And it eventually flows into the wading pool?
That one does, yes.
Okay. But it doesn't have a particular name itself?
I think it's just a tributary.
Yeah, okay. All right, next item on the agenda is new member, upcoming member of the Conservation Commission, Courtney. Courtney, I understand that the select board wanted to be sure you were not an artificial intelligence creation. They want to see you in person on Thursday night before they formally appoint you. And so,
Yes, I just confirmed for them, I'll be there.
all right, and we look forward to you being sworn in and being a voting member.
I will be there as well, so you'll have backup if you need it.
And you had mentioned you know somebody who might also want to join, so we're looking forward to.
We're working on that.
Excellent, excellent. And anybody else who knows somebody, we want to have a full board of 7. All right, so any other comments? I guess you can have moral support on Thursday night. But I think it's kind of a shoo-in. All right, our next item is, we actually don't have any, well, we do have another one, but previously we voted on the project on 61 West Main Street, which is the current site of Honeydew Donuts. That's file number 250-1180. That was voted to be continued until the 20th of October. And also we have a request for continuation of our next continued public hearing, which is file number 250-1178, 0 Leonard Street, and they have requested to be continued until September 22nd. So we're looking for a motion for that.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue file 250-1178 to the September, was it 20th?
22nd.
Meeting?
22nd.
22nd, excuse me.
All right,
22nd.
motion made by Dan and seconded by?
So moved.
Seconded by Joe. Dan and Joe, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Lisa and Mark?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, motion carries. Our next item is file number 250-1184. It is a combination of 2 parcels, 0 and 77 West Main Street. Do we have a representative of the applicant?
Yes, Rich Riccio is here from Field Engineering. I believe the owner is in the room as well, Chris Bernard.
And if you can share your screen, we'll bring up the plan.
Yes. Does everybody see the plan?
I can, and I'm assuming everyone else can.
It's just a white screen.
Well, you're in a different time zone, so. be
Okay,
patient.
yeah, see it.
All right, there you go.
Okay, if you recall at the last meeting, this is the redevelopment of the rich parcel located at 0177 West Main. We had continued the meeting, we had a planning board meeting back on the 26th of August to discuss this project as well. We wanted to incorporate any plan changes that they may have requested as part of their meeting. And also, there was a couple comments about our plans at your commission meeting with regards to snow storage areas and maintenance, snow storage maintenance. So I have a colored up version of the layout, the site layout plan on the screen, showing a number of snow storage areas that we have submitted in various areas located off of the pavement. There was also a number of notes that were added to the plan, and I have also provided a standalone long-term pollution prevention and stormwater O&M plan to the office that could be attached to any potential order conditions, which also lists the snow management information, namely that no road salt could be used on site due to its location within the water resource district and also the close proximity to the wetlands. Snow would be stockpiled in areas generally shown on the plan. Any drainage structures would be kept clear of snow following any of storm events. And also no snow shall be deposited directly into the public right-of-way or into any wetland resource areas. The goal would be for the snow to flow through the stormwater management system, the snow melt. Finally, there's just a note that if any of the on-site areas were not sufficient, the owner would have to contract with someone to remove and dispose of the snow at a approved off-site location. I know we also had some discussion with regards to the easement. I did submit the owner's been working with town council on that. They drafted a license agreement to allow him to use that area while they work through the formal easement process. And I believe your agent also had some suggested notes or conditions on that as well.
All right, and that kind of is the segue into the discussion of the easement issue.
So I did reach out to the acting town manager, who actually just relinquished his duties to the now current town manager. But while he was the town manager, he gave me a statement. He said he had talked to town council to review the matter, and then a land swap concern came into light around July when he became the acting town manager. Council stated that the LLC, on behalf of Mr. Pernock, could sign a license agreement with the town for the use of the easement, as the easement piece is considered Article 97 land due to the building of the water tower back in the day on park property. He then said that town council provided a draft license agreement, and he understands that Mr. Pernock has signed the agreement, which is on the select board's agenda to sign for this week. This will enable Mr. Pernock to begin his project at 77 West Main Street. In the long term, he will likely look for a permanent easement, which will require the actual formal land swap. So I think as part of this, and some of my suggestions in talking with him was that if the commission was to potentially render a decision on this matter, we would also put a potential condition in any order of conditions that stated that that the final recorded easement document be provided to the commission prior to the filing of any certificate of compliance. So I think Mr. Pernock has basically, he's okay and comfortable with that. I think that, obviously he needs to go through Mass DOT and he needs to receive all the local permits before he can get all that stuff. He understands this is going to be a process. but I don't think this agreement, easement, this situation that he's in is gonna be something that he can do in a timely manner. So unfortunately, I think the license agreement gets him through this process for local permitting, but at some point, he's gonna have to get that formalized agreement, if that makes any sense.
All right, with that issue dealt with, any questions from commission members?
So let's start with the snow storage notes that you added. Thank you for adding those to the plan, Rich.
Yep.
My question is, are those same notes in the O&M plan?
Yes, let me see, I'm gonna, did my
So-
screen switch to a document?
It did.
Yes.
Yeah, so what I would suggest, and we've done this in the past, this was part of our submittal in our stormwater report, a long-term pollution prevention plan. And I basically copied those same notes right into this document. And it's also referenced in the stormwater post-construction O&M plan as well, where this could easily be attached to any order of conditions where anybody would be made aware of that moving forward. And then for the O&M of the site in perpetuity, this would be attached to any certificate of compliance as well.
So the most important thing you can do is attach your plan, which shows the snowplow operator exactly where the snow storage locations are. You can write as many conditions as you want, right? But visually they need to see where they can store snow. So I would ask you to append the plan showing the snow storage areas to this document, if it's not already there.
That's not a problem. Yeah, I mean, we can
Okay.
attach the plan to this as well.
Okay. Let's move on to this license agreement. I am not aware that a license agreement or an easement or whatever else you want to call it allows you to bypass or circumvent Article 97. And until I hear it from council, I'm not enough to convince me otherwise. So Article 90, the applicant must go through Article 97 because this constitutes a change in use from park access, which the public is afforded access to serving a private entity. That's a change in use. So has anybody opined on Article 97? I mean, you can write as many license agreement and easements as you want, but that does not preclude or take the place of Article 97.
I would
Can we-
submit
Can we
that. Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
This is Rich. This area has always been used to access the neighbors as well, and we are not impeding any access to the site.
Doesn't matter what it's used for. Article 97 means the land was set aside in perpetuity for a reason. Once you change that use, you must go back. You have to start with every town board, all the way up to the state legislature, to get relief from this process. And it usually will involve a land swap. They finally allowed a land swap, but there is no way around this. So,
Our council and I believe town council feels that the license agreement that he drafted is sufficient to allow the owner to use this.
right, so license agreements now take the place of Article 97. I'm sure the Attorney General would love to hear that.
Well, there's actually
but
there's actually a reference to license agreements in the legislation that says it doesn't preclude that because it's a revocable thing.
So
Lisa,
that's just what I want to hear from town council, that this is allowed without going through the Article 97 process. And can we go back to the site plan for a second?
Lisa, I just need a clarification on what you're saying.
Yep. Yep.
So, as I understand it, this easement previously was used as a public access to what was at one point a hot dog stand. but it also was public access to Fernandez Park, as well as private access to a residence. As I understand it, what's being proposed is it will now be public access to two businesses as well as continue being public access to the park. So when you say
Change in use.
but when you say a change in use, it does not preclude public access.
Doesn't matter,
to
the law
park.
says a change in use, it doesn't say precluding this or precluding that or what was there in the past, it's a change in use. That's a change in use, you're now facilitating, so without this driveway, right, this private developer would have no access. You are changing the use from, you're not changing it from public, right, it's gonna be made public, but you're changing it from a single-family house, which I don't even know if that was allowed, to facilitate a private development.
So
That's the whole intention of Article 97, was to make sure stuff like this didn't happen. So I am not gonna be convinced on this call, I need to hear it from town council.
all right.
My
so-
question here is, why can't you shift the building and the parking lot on that right-hand side? And why do you have to have that formal, you have a lot of pavement here, so why do you have to have that, that access in the middle there, if you will?
We're trying to
Or that
reduce
second
the,
access?
we're trying to reduce the number of curb cuts onto the property.
But if you flipped that,
We'd
get rid of that,
We would still need a separate curb cut for the small building.
yeah, so you're willing to say you might have to go through Article 97 and not do another curb cut?
The
Just saying.
we're trying to make use of an existing curb cut and an existing driveway that the town has granted the right to the adjacent
Okay.
owners to use, but
Okay, well, I've said my
Yes.
piece on it, and until I hear from town council, I'm not comfortable, weighing in on this project, so.
All right, and what you're saying is if town council has no objection to this project as it's being laid out, you would accept that as sufficient?
Not that they have no objection, but they have to, basically prove to me that they don't need to go through the Article 97 process for this, and that a lease agreement takes the place of 97.
I don't think that's what they're saying, Lisa. I think that they're saying that, for instance, as part of the process, they can do this license agreement to basically get through the permit process in an expedited fashion, but they do know that they have to eventually do the Article 97 lease agreement for that transition and do the land swap as a result. This kind of just starts the ignition a little bit sooner for the permit processes to get through the process of getting through Mass DOT, because Mass DOT won't accept anything unless you have all your local permits in hand.
So, now I'm confused, I'm even more confused, so are they actually going to go through Article 97, the process?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. At some point they are. That's what I'm saying, is they are going to do it, but this gets them through the process to start with Mass DOT to then do the Article 97.
Okay, well, that wasn't clear, so then, if we think about this, then we cannot allow this to start without, the project getting approval through Article 97, that's what the condition should be.
Well, how do we don't have jurisdiction over parkland.
It doesn't matter, because the Article 97 has to go through every board in town.
No, it doesn't. It only needs to go through the Select Board and the Parks and Rec Commission. It doesn't need to go through us. We would not hold up in court if you abstain from this.
It is my understanding that it has to go through every board, so, anyway, I've said my piece, it'll come out in my vote. Thank you.
All right, any further comments from members of the commission? And any questions from members of the audience, or do we have members of the public on the call through Zoom? I guess we don't. All right, any questions from the audience? Sure, let's just state your name.
Yeah, sure, Chris Cronrock. So my understanding was that this was approved by town council already to allow this project to get moving, with the understanding that the Article 97 issue has to be dealt with as we go. They've approved that. They said that this license that had to be signed, which I did, approved the ability to start the project. So Lisa, you're saying you don't believe them? You don't believe that, even knowing I have to go through Article 97, you're saying that?
No, it was not clear to me, it was not stated anywhere, yes, we are going through Article 97. All I was told was, yes, there's a lease agreement, yes, there's an easement lease agreement, that's all I kept hearing. I didn't hear anything about we are going through Article 97. That was not translated to me.
Well, that is the case though, so we understand, first of all, this easement situation is just blown up because of lack of knowledge in this town. I went through every single aspect I had to go through, the town meeting votes, all the way through. And then at the last hour, I was told, well, there's something we don't know, we gotta figure it out. Nobody knew about this. So I did all the metrics that had to be done, I accomplished. And then this comes up. So, okay, well, it came up, nobody in town, nobody knew about any of this in this town. So I'll pay the price for that, but I'm not gonna sit here and wait for a project for this Article 97, which, that could take 2 years to get done. When I have from town council stating that they have allowed me, based upon signing that license agreement, to start the project, because I can't get any permits until, I can't get any DOT issues going until I get local permits. So I don't know what else, it's been a real cluster all the way along with this easement. I did everything I was told to by all town people, and it was wrong, or it was still more to be done. So I have done everything I can do, given all these situations that have come up, people have learned along the way.
But has anybody instructed you that you can't start the project until you go through 97
No,
process?
no, because town council said that we were able to sign this license agreement, it's a temporary holder to get the easement through Article 97 done. So we don't have to sit here for 2 years, wait, I don't know, I got town approval last October for this easement. So I have no idea.
But what happens if, okay, so it has to go all the way to the state legislature.
Okay.
What if it's not?
I don't know how long. I'm assuming it's gonna take a couple of years to do. The project's gonna take a while.
Right, no, I'm just saying is, devil's advocate, if they don't approve it, then what happens? If it doesn't, if it's never approved, then what happens?
I guess I don't know enough
It's
about
not an
Article
easy-
97 to say what are the conditions if they would not approve it. I don't know why they wouldn't approve it. I have no idea what they can ultimately, is this one of those things you go through the motions and you give them all what they need and they say okay, or no, it doesn't work
Not
that way?
always, not
There's-
always,
there's There's an alternative analysis that you would have to
it's a
present.
process.
And then there's either if this was negatively impacting the use of the park and the land, you would have to offset that with
Yeah.
other land or money. But with this not, the intent of Article 97 is for no net loss of open space. That's the overall
Yes.
intent of it.
You just have to prove it, that's all. And I understand it's gonna take time and money and months to do. I understand that. I've been through it.
What have you found, Lisa? What have you found when you've gone through it?
Well, this is interesting. I have never seen private development use 97. It's always, and I've done this half a dozen times, sister state agency to state agency. It's DCR to MassDOT, or it's DCR to some other state entity. I have never seen private do this. So I don't know. It could be more difficult. I don't know.
So I'm just trying to understand the extent of our jurisdiction and how that would impact any votes we take tonight. So assuming, again, this goes up to the worst case scenario, you can't get that easement, you can't use that middle part for the driveway, we're talking about 2 additional curb cuts, right? Like that's seemingly the alternative. And then restoring that area back to its original condition. Like are there any other
Yes.
impacts that would happen in the event that that easement couldn't be used? That specifically those that pertain to our jurisdiction.
Well, one of the problems was if by doing a curb cut, we did talk about potentially doing a curb cut on a small lot. but that's even closer to the high school, the school exit. So we didn't want to have to do a curb cut over there just to keep away from there.
Yeah, I can appreciate a lot of decisions made went into using the existing curb cut and all that. I'm really, again, thinking more long-term. You come back to us in 2 years, say, I fought a hard fight with Article 97 and I ran into some unexpected issues. What we're talking about at that point is restoring the paved area back to its original condition. Is that what we're talking about? Or what are
That's
the
an
impacts?
alternative.
What are the
That
impacts?
easement, just to be clear, that easement is already paved.
Correct.
And
I guess I'm just trying to understand the extent of any impacts that would happen should the Article 97 process fail.
They wouldn't be able to use it for access to a private development.
Correct.
Bottom line. So they would have to do
Specifically,
another
help me
curb cut.
understand how that would impact any votes that we take tonight.
Because we can't allow something that has to still go through Article 97 for use of public space. Now, is it tied to the Wetlands Protection Act? Not directly. So therefore, I am willing to put a condition in this to that effect.
Right, it's all contingent on going through that whole process and getting all the
Yes.
improvements necessary through that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about, again, should that fail, it doesn't seem like there's substantial changes in the design that we're now dealing with, or,
It's the same.
again, I'm just trying to understand the full extent of any decision.
Yeah, well, yeah, they would just have to, it would never preclude them from building on that right-hand side. They just have to do another curb cut. Cheap money compared to 97, in my view, but.
Yeah, that may be difficult.
Lisa, you've
I
been
think that would
involved.
be more difficult than Chris giving the town an acre to offset 6,000 square feet somewhere. I just don't, I can't see that this holding up
Yeah.
starting construction on the site.
But
Given that town council's weighed in, they're the ones that drafted the license agreement as a
That's all
temporary.
fine, but
Folder.
you still have to go through 97.
And we're not-
I'm
we're not-
telling you, the easement's great, but you still have to go through 97, that's all I'm saying. So,
right, but Lisa, in all reasonable thinking this through, if you were a state legislator and this comes before you, where you don't have the access of the public block, why would this fail? I'm not sure I understand. I mean, you're pointing out there's a process, but I'm thinking through where would the point at which approving this all the way up to the legislature would cause it to hit a brick wall. I mean, if you're seeing something that I don't understand, I'd like to know, but
because it's unknown territory, Julian, like I've said, you typically, and I asked this question years ago when somebody came before us across town, I asked both sets of attorneys point blank, have you ever seen Article 97 go between to a private developer? And they both said no. It's usually state agency to state agency. I have a bridge I'm building for MassDOT, the footings landing in the park, I had to go through Article 97, sister agency to sister agency. I have never seen this, and two attorneys had never seen it go to a private entity, to benefit a private entity. I don't know if that's going to be a roadblock for the state. I don't know.
There was one last year in Freetown that was between DCR and a trust. So there has been precedent with public-private transfers.
I'm guessing they're few and far between though, compared to how it was intended. But anyway, again, it's just my 2 cents. We can move on.
So Lisa, I have a question for you. This is Chris. So
Yeah.
let's say we just say, forget it. Forget the license agreement, forget the easement. So that right now is for public use, that asphalt pavement.
Yep.
So why can't we use it? Could we use
Because
it?
that was it was set aside in perpetuity as public space.
Yeah.
Can you use it for what though?
Why can't,
No, It's a change in use. If you use it, if you're, well,
Why?
if you're not just
isn't it
joking
public?
public.
Wouldn't that be considered
What's that?
public? Wouldn't that be considered public use for people driving in and out of that?
No. No, that's a destination for, that's to facilitate access to a private development.
Well, all right, I think we should move on. I think, as
Well,
you pointed
Julie, that's
out.
why I asked for the attorney to be at this meeting.
uh,
I asked John Thomas so we could just bypass all this and just get it from the horse's mouth from a legal perspective. And maybe we'd feel better about it. So I'm just going with what I know. We
All
can
right.
move on.
But, I mean, the attorney's opinion will be inputted, but also, as you mentioned, this is not a direct responsibility within the Wetlands Protection Act. So I think we have to leave these legal processes to the other boards and agencies that have direct responsibility for it. And is that acceptable?
Not to me, because they're relying on something that hasn't been approved yet. But that's just, I'm just one vote, Julian.
I just go back to your agent's comments with his discussions with town council and the suggested conditions. I think there's your safeguard.
All right, so any further comments or questions? As I understand it,
Here's the
stormwater,
email for the record that I have from the acting town manager stating of his conversations with town council. I mean, right now, I will say for the public record, is that Fernandez Park has no use. There's nobody that goes to Fernandez Park. I don't know anyone that uses Fernandez Park. I'd like to see Fernandez Park utilized. As the open space director and as basically in discussions with the Parks and Rec Commission, we'd like to see some sort of embellishment of this area. Its use is intended use. So anything that we can do to facilitate, whether public access, improvements, anything to enhance this property for the designated use that Article 97 is outlines it to be, we would appreciate. I'm not saying that something's going to happen with it in the future, but if there's any sort of opportunity that presents itself for it to be utilized and, I guess, procured in the future, that'd be great.
John, with that, just one last question for the applicant. I can't see on the plan set that I have, but the one that you have on the screen, which I also just can't see the detail of. I'm not sure if you can zoom in on the north end of the easement. I'm just wondering what that feature is there.
You're talking this circular
Correct,
or the dash?
right where your mouse was, that correct?
Yeah, this hatching here is the pavement that we'd be removing to restore the vegetation. And then this was an area that could be potentially used for snow storage to clear for the drive, for the access drive.
Okay, thank you.
So wait, can you go back? You'd be storing snow where?
Along the back of this parking area here, in this area, as a potential spot.
Okay.
all right, as far as the Wetland Protection Act requirements of this project, there are no open issues, right? The stormwater has been peer reviewed. Is that correct, John?
Yes, it has been vetted out and everything. I guess my question, because I haven't spoken to the planning board director regarding this project, but where do you guys currently stand with the planning board as it pertains to this project?
We've addressed all their plan concerns. The last outstanding item was a peer review on the traffic. Counts coming in, which they've received, and we'll be discussing that with them tomorrow night. But nothing plan related. It was more with regards to the traffic counts and numbers.
All right, are there any outstanding Wetland Protection Act data issues that would preclude from this being closed tonight?
None that I can see from, with regards to the Wetlands Protection Act or our local and state stormwater regulations and bylaw.
I guess the final question about whether to close or continue is, I guess, to ask the owner, that is Mr. Burnham, that's you.
Yes.
As to whether a town council, whether a letter from town council can be obtained and submitted by our next meeting, I think is the 22nd of this month, yeah, September 22nd, that will be added information that will potentially ease some of this discomfort about this. Is that something that can be obtained between, I know your town council doesn't work for you, but, this is.
So what I do know from my understanding is that the select board has not signed the easement agreement. They haven't voted to sign it yet, correct?
That's Thursday.
Thursday, so it's not public record until they sign it. So once it's public record and recorded at the registry, then we can share that license agreement with the commission. I can't share it with them right now. I've seen it, but I can't share it with the commission.
Yeah.
That, along with a letter from town council, would potentially, I'm not going to say it is going to, but would potentially satisfy the concerns from the commission based on their reservations addressed this evening.
What should the letter consist of? I mean, I thought we did it with the license and they, I don't know what else they're gonna say.
I don't know at this point either. I think just to.
But I think even the license agreement indicating that the primary board that needs to act on this has acted on this. So if you would be willing to agree to a continuation until September 22nd, until we can have access to that license agreement, I think that would be helpful. I'm not saying everybody's going to be satisfied, but I think it would be added administrative information.
I don't have any problem with the license agreement by then, but town council is difficult.
In fact, that may have been an overreach. I don't know if we can really request such.
I'm sure a settlement meeting set up for this week to sign the license agreement.
Yeah.
But town council is not responsive.
And also, that may not be something that we can legitimately require. So, all right, so I think the license agreement will help. So.
I have one question, Julian.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is town council aware this is Article 97 land?
Yes, they are.
Okay. All right, so unless there are any further comments or questions, we can consider a motion to continue this hearing until September 22nd.
All right.
So moved?
Second.
We have a motion by Mark and seconded by Lisa. So, Joe and Dan, how do you vote? Joe, I think your mic may have been off.
Aye.
And Dan, your mic is off.
My only question is there any way I can get what I need to do for town
Hold
council?
on, Chris. They're in the middle of the motion.
Hey, Dan, did you hear? You're up for a vote? Dan seems.
Dan's frozen.
Dan's frozen.
Dan's frozen.
Okay. Right out of Star Wars.
We're gonna restart that, so go ahead, Chris.
I just, the problem all along is I'm not really sure exactly what's supposed to be done with. Town council is difficult for some of them myself to deal with, because they
All right,
don't work.
I'm gonna retract that request and say licensing.
No, but it's a good request though, because I would love to know, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, this. You know, it's hard not knowing. First of all, I don't think anybody knew what had to be done,
Yes.
you know, and then that's been a process. And thanks for John, because John has helped out huge
It's
with
a
trying to guide
learning
us.
process for all of us, but I think if, you know, see what the selectmen say, they may have information from town council that they can pass on to you.
That's a good point.
My recommendation is that they will brief the public Thursday's meeting.
Okay.
I'll be in attendance at that meeting because Courtney Miller's planning on being appointed to the Conservation Commission. I will stay and see what they say to have that.
Great.
But at the same point, they should be briefing the public as to what provisions are being met by this license agreement.
Okay.
They can't just sign it, they have to basically give us some sort of synopsis.
Understood.
So I hope they provide something, some sort of clarity.
That's great.
All right, so, we seem to have lost Dan. So, once again, I think we have a motion by Joe and seconded by Lisa. So we're gonna try to complete that vote. So, Mark and Joe, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Dan has reappeared, so Dan and Lisa, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I see a yes there from Dan, and I'll throw in a yes, so the motion carries. So, thank you.
Thank you.
And we're now moving on to our next item, which is file number 250-1186, it's 49 Island Road, and it concerns a proposal to construct a 36 by 16 foot garage. And do we have a representative of the applicant?
Just myself, Brian Chase.
Okay,
The owner.
so you are the applicant.
I am.
All right, so hang on a second,
Sure.
and we'll bring up a plan.
Do you have the updated plan or no?
No, I discussed that with you by email. We're trying to get, the updated plan is to do the small addition on the back of the existing garage. So they are requiring stuff for the inside of the house, not the outside.
Okay.
So I've been trying to reach an architect, and that's not easy lately either, so we're trying to get that going.
Okay.
Are we discussing the 6 by 19.4 edition, the proposed edition?
That is my understanding, oh,
It's actually
The-
both parcels, right?
the proposed addition.
What's up?
Isn't it actually both parcels, the small addition as well as the garage?
When you say parcels, we're talking like property.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
This
It's
is not
like
my
one person-
forte.
Yeah, and so the proposed, it's a deck, is that right, or is that actual addition to the house?
It's actually a 6-foot addition to the proposed living space.
Okay,
That's an attached garage.
okay. So the garage is taken over as living space, and then a new garage is proposed?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So you're probably not experienced in describing the activity, so with your permission, I will describe what I see. You have the adjoining reservoir, which is, well, you have, so the 50-foot buffer passes through one area of the proposed project, namely the additional living space, and then the remainder, the proposed garage, is within the 100, between the 50 and the 100 from the reservoir edge. Both activities appear to be out of the flood zone, and I think that's the full extent of it. Does that sound right?
Yes.
So, John, do you have any comments about the project? I assume you've seen the site?
Yes, I've been out to the site. I've you know, I've talked to Mike Trowbridge, I've talked to the building commissioner. They're doing the best they can to stay outside the flood zone. I guess, you know, the building FEMA certificate's not gonna be required for this project. And I think you said you went through zoning already, right?
We have to go back with that other information, but yes, so
Okay.
zoning continued it.
Do you think they're gonna change the site plan at all?
I honestly don't know. I think they seem very, very intent on finding out what the living space would be now
Okay.
versus adding on the 6 feet. They didn't really talk much about the garage.
Okay,
So I guess at this point with them, I've got to get an architect.
so when is the next meeting with the?
I recently, it was supposed to be the 10th,
Okay,
but because I'm having trouble getting someone even to answer the phone as an architect,
yes,
I bumped it to November 19th, just to give some
November
time.
19th, okay.
Right.
Do you anticipate that, I guess the question is, I mean, you can keep this open until they finalize and are comfortable with the plan, because for instance, if the board makes a decision,
Yeah.
right, and there are modifications made to the plan,
Hmm.
or changes are made to the design, you have to come back to us to revise it.
Even if it's, say, shortened. that
Even
kind
if
of
it's
thing.
shortened or
Okay.
anything, you still need to
Alright.
come back. So I guess my
Okay.
question to you would be, would it be beneficial, you said the 19th?
The 19th
Okay.
of November.
All right, so would it be beneficial for you to request a continuance until after they make a determination on that? I know it's,
If that's what yes.
I think once you have a more finalized plan with all the rest of the boards weighing in on it, it's usually goes a lot smoother
Okay.
for the commission to just approve any sort of project that may require revisions. That way, for instance, you're not going back and forth with doing amendments and
Correct.
modifications and things of that nature, so.
Yep. I
Before
understand.
we consider a motion for continuation though, I have an additional question about the plan. You have small X's on the plan, does that indicate a fence?
That's a good question. So Mike Trowbridge drew these plans. The fence is close to the road,
So
so I'm
that
not sure
actually-
what that cross-section is.
My understanding is that is the water department, they own, right, isn't that you right next to the,
So, okay, on the other side, on the left-hand side.
Right,
that
that's
is
the fenced-in
town
water.
sewage. Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Yes,
Yeah.
okay, I thought we were talking about all the way around the property, like around the house, so.
Well,
that is what he's talking about too. So there's the fenced-in portion of the water department property, which is
Correct.
to the left, and
Right.
then there's the fence, which
Okay,
then goes.
yes, you're
all the way
right,
to the
that
back.
is the fence, you're right.
So there's a fence between you and the bank, but between, for example, the deck?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, in the back, it fences off at the reservoir.
And is that area all grass now, or?
It's natural, whatever, you know,
Okay.
from the day I moved in 32 years ago, it hasn't changed.
All right, so you have, so you're saying all of that is kind of natural vegetation from the deck and back?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so you can't get any, you can't actually do any work on this until it gets approved by
Correct.
zoning? Okay, so I agree with John that this needs to be continued, but before we do that, we have to ask any questions from members of the commission.
So, is there another sheet to this set? Because it seems to be missing.
There is. Oh, no, that's,
Okay.
that's another project. I take it back.
So if we could see the topography, if we could see the flood zone elevation based on the actual elevation, we seem to be missing a sheet or something here.
Yeah, I would say that, I think Mike left the contours off this plan, so he's gonna have to add the contours to the plan.
What is on the bottom, John, remember we had a problem in emailing this, and there was more information on the bottom, I did not know that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
that's
no,
nothing,
no.
no, okay.
No.
Okay,
What
just talking about
What Lisa's referring to is the on-site contours.
Okay.
I think Mike left them off the sheet.
Right,
I think this was for zoning,
Right,
he needs to turn on the contours
okay,
for the commission.
okay,
And so the plan's gonna have to get revised, but
Okay.
I would just suggest that when you come in for your, I guess, final walkthrough with the commission, just
Okay.
make sure that the contours are updated and
Okay.
on the plan.
all right.
Because that's how
And
we,
so we're gonna
go ahead.
need to see existing contours, maybe a first floor elevation, maybe a proposed elevation on the garage and the addition.
Okay,
That's typically what we require,
okay.
right?
All right, so any questions from any members of the audience? And there's no others. So our options for continuation are September 22nd, October 6th, October 20th, and November 10th at this point. So I think if you anticipate nothing happening until November, we can go to November 10th or October 20th. And then if something is
You would
happening.
want me to meet with zoning though first, correct? We have to get through zoning, that isn't until the 19th of November.
Yeah, so we're probably not going to meet the last week of November because it's gonna conflict with Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So
okay.
I
December.
would suggest the first meeting in December. I don't know what that's going to be
Okay.
first.
And I just have a question now, let's say that an architect does step up and we get things done, can I make a motion to?
So why don't we do this right now?
Okay,
Is that you would request a continuance until, obviously you're not gonna have anything for next week, but
No.
then, for instance, maybe the first week of October. And then at the October meeting, then you would basically provide us an update.
okay,
Does that seem reasonable?
that's reasonable.
When the meeting for October was
It's October 6th.
October 6th.
Yeah, and then you can just tell us.
At that point, I would also have to
how-
vote up
how
zoning
far-
first, because I've got to appear before zoning, correct?
Yeah, however that works, I mean,
Okay,
I think as long as you provide us, you know, the recommended suggestions from Lisa, which was updating the plan and everything else, I think then we should be in a good stance,
okay,
getting all the finished floor elevations and everything like that.
okay,
We should be in a good situation.
okay,
Right.
all right.
All right, so we're looking for a motion for continuing this hearing for file number 250-1186 until October 6th.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion
And
by,
also,
yeah,
Mr. Chairman, and board and people assembled, I do apologize for my screen is, my connection is wobbly or whatever.
Dan, you know, you can always come into the Winnicott room if you want to.
come on down.
If we get a discussion, as long as we had two numbers ago, I might just do that.
All right.
Or I might call. I wasn't able even to get my number, but now I've got the number to call in, so.
All right, Dan, we have a motion on the floor. So motion by you and seconded by Mark. So Dan and Mark, how do you vote?
Yeah, it might be frozen again. I'm an aye.
Well, he's moving. So Dan, can you hear? How do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right, and then Joe and Lisa.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, so the motion carries. So thank you,
Thank you.
and we'll see you in October.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank you.
In our final hearing, which is a new public hearing, is the termination, number 1144, 30 Johnson Drive, and a request for RDA, I'm blocking. What's an RDA?
Request for determination of applicability?
Okay, yes, the applicability, that was the word I lost. Do we have a representative of the applicant?
I'm the contractor and it's the homeowner.
Okay, you wanna come to the house? And, so I was a little bit puzzled by the plan, because we have a duplicate plan. I don't know if that's the old plan or the new plan.
It's like a overall site kind of plan, and then zoom in on it a little bit.
A little bit. And this Johnson Street doesn't really exist, it's Johnson Drive up here. And pinning down exactly where the house was on Google Earth with Google was difficult for me, so. But at any rate, it's actually on Johnson Drive, as I understand it. Although there's something of an extended driveway?
It's an extended driveway
Yeah,
with, there's a house, there's two houses, it's like a
The shared driveway.
shared driveway.
Yeah, it's a common driveway, as they call it here.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And the house on Google Map, I think they said it's on, it's a different address when you Google it.
Yes, the numbers don't come out, so, but that's Google then. So this is actually 30 Johnson Drive then. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you go over the project, please?
So I can actually go over the project. Peter asked me to go over it today. So what they're doing is they're doing a septic repair project. They're replacing a failed system. It was a cesspool. I guess it was there for a while, and the house was built in '94, so it predates the Rivers Protection Act. And my suggestions would be for the commission that, obviously all this work, this property is within riverfront area. If you looked at the USGS map, you can see that there's a tributary, perennial tributary that runs through the middle portion of the property. You pull 200 feet in either direction, it covers the entire property from north to south. So the property itself is roughly about 163,000 square feet. It's a 3.76 acre parcel. 10% of that riverfront threshold is about 16,300 square feet. The work that they're proposing is within pre-existing lawn area that was part of the original permit for the design of the house prior to the Rivers Protection Act. And the work that's being proposed is about, in rough, I would say 700 square feet of disturbance and alteration within riverfront area. So I had a couple conditions, obviously well, not conditions, but findings that I would suggest putting into any sort of determination that the commission would potentially choose to issue. Those are that the entire property at 30 Johnson Drive contains riverfront area associated with the USGS map perennial stream and an unnamed Rumford River tributary. All work shall conform to the design plan, Wetlands Protection Act, and 310 CMR 10.586C for the SAS repair upgrade project. I said the proposed disturbance shall result in about 700 square feet of riverfront alteration and approximately 163,000 square feet for the 3.76 acre parcel. The 10% threshold for the property is roughly 16,300 square feet. I said the repaired upgraded SAS system shall be stabilized with vegetative cover following construction, and no other work is approved by the commission through this determination. So those would be my recommendations to the commission for if they decide to issue a determination for this project.
This does not require the bringing in of fill, or does it?
There's no fill at all, we're putting in an individual right here. It's going exactly where the old field was. You see the big circle where the cesspool was there?
Oh, I see. So there's is it a pump chamber or gravity?
This is Elgin system. It's to separate the water, but it's almost like a trench system. There's two rows of Elgins.
There's a tank illustrated.
Oh, we're changing the septic tank, a 2-compartment tank.
Okay.
With the distribution box and
But it's a gravity system.
It's a gravity system, yes.
All right, so no fill to bring things up or anything like that.
No, this system here, it requires you to bring in C33 wash sand, but it's not anything above the ground.
Right, right. Okay, so, questions from members of the commission?
I have a question.
Sure.
Is there anything in this design for lateral leaching?
No,
of the-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's designed just with no overdig, it's just a square footage. And again, there's no overdig on it, so it's just a very small area. I think it's gonna be like a 12 by 37 that's being cut out. If you understand that.
Does that answer your question, Joe?
Yes and no. On the edges, is there any sheeting or any material to
there's-
stop the lateral leaching?
Yeah, there's no 40 mil polyline or there's nothing like that. It's gravity fed, it's going into existing ground, the gravel.
Can you zoom in a little bit to that system? It's really tough to see. So, John, is there a sediment control line there?
Yeah, they have one.
Yeah, I'm just looking for it, that's all.
Yeah, 1 second.
No, the one that says erosion control, probably, okay.
Mhm.
Sorry about the plan.
So, well, it's an interesting one down. It's going the wrong way, but hey, that's okay, if you want to spend your money on it. Okay, so I see it. It's right there. So there's no tree clearing to put this in?
No, it's gonna be with an existing lawn.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and audience members probably don't have any questions since it's your project. And so any other questions, comments? So you have some existing, I mean, is it fair to say existing conditions?
They're just findings, they're not conditions. I can't enforce because it's not a notice of intent.
Okay.
So it's more of a findings from the commission that would state that this is kind of the situation. That way, for instance, if the landowner did decide to come back to the commission, we would have record that, obviously the 163,000 square feet that they have, the 10%, which is 16,300 minus 700, that's what they have to play with if they would want to come back for a potential project in the future. It just kind of keeps record, so that way if we pulled any previous permits.
All right, and that deals with the riverfront
That's correct.
project component.
Can I ask the landowners if they have any intent to come in for anything?
No.
Okay.
All right, so unless there are further questions, I think we can consider a motion to close the hearing for this request for determination of applicability.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion by Lisa, seconded by Mark. So Mark and Joe, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Dan and
Aye.
Lisa, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye as well. So the motion carries. We're now back in our regular meeting, and we can vote on whether the determination is positive or negative, assuming it's carried out according to plan.
I'll make a motion to issue a negative determination.
Second.
And we have a motion by Lisa, seconded by Mark. So Mark and Joe, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Dan and Lisa, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. Just for clarity, a negative determination means that the project is approved, assuming it's built according to plan, and you do not have to file a notice of intent.
Okay.
And you'll get paperwork to that effect in a few days.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
And we do not have anything else to act on tonight. So, there was a previous request for a formal motion and a roll call vote. We were set for adjournment.
Yeah, I just need you guys to roll call.
All right, so we'll be a little bit formal about this. Anyone want to move to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dan, seconded by Mark. Dan and Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Joe and, oh, wait a second. Dan and Mark, so Lisa and Joe.
Aye.
Aye.
And I will throw in an aye. That motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good